amazing if this is where we are and not quite live yet. That is the most wonderful thing ever. So I was standing in front of this great big bowl, taking a final shaving cut off of it, and I hear ba-ding, ding, dong, dong. And I look down and I've broken my scraper that I'm working on, which means that somewhere either in the shop, in the shavings, or in me, there's probably a 2-inch piece of steel. And I'm thinking to myself, are we dead? So I start patting myself down real quick, looking for holes and making sure that it's not in me, and it's not. But it has been about 1.5 years since this incident, and I have not found the piece of scraper. It is lost into the abyss of my shop. Wear your safety gear, folks.
Wear your safety gear. TJ, we did go live.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 127 of Sawdust Talk. Tonight, we are joined with our lovely friend, Becca, from Southern Pine Design Co. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jessie from Building Jessie, and below me here is TJ from TJT Workshop. And I'm going to let TJ roll into our sponsors real quick before we dive into the show.
Sure. First sponsor of the night that we're going to thank for their assistance is going to be Layla with Casey Bombshell Designs. She is our new merch supplier. And as soon as we get better artwork over to her, she is going to be the place to go to get all of the hottest Sawdust Talk merchandise. We also need to give a shout out to Mike over at Makers for St. Jude. Fall Challenge is going to be coming up. There are sponsors lining up out the wazoo, and I don't know if you guys know where your wazoo's located, but it's right by the yin yang, and that's how deep we are laden with sponsors. So if you want to win valuable prizes, help raise money for one of the best children's charities out there, and build a little bit tighter knit community with your makers, your maker friends, and doing things for the right reason, check out Makers for St. Jude or Woodworker versus Cancer. Talk to Mike about how you can get involved to be awesome and help such a cool charity. We have one additional sponsor that normally we take time to shout out, but today we've got a special guest shout out.
Ooh, I get to take the wheel.
Yes, indeed.
All right. One of my personal favorite sponsors and families and companies. Thank you, Surf Prep, for sponsoring Sawdust Talk Live. If you think that sanding sucks, then you don't own a Surf Prep. So we can get you one of these little babies here, which will be launching on my YouTube channel soon. They're Gen 2 6-inch sander. So excited to start rocking that baby. They're Pro Foam. And if you don't know or haven't met Hannah and her family, then you're missing out on that too, because they are not only an amazing, innovative abrasives company, but they are a really amazing group of people as well.
That's right.
That was perfect.
That was wonderful.
Team Surf Prep. I love that we have like a Surf Prep girly in the house. I'm not the only Surf Prep girl on the show tonight. So, Becca, I'm trying to think how long ago I met you. It's been at least a few years-ish. We've been around each other quite a bit, though, which I love.
Yes.
I always love being around you. But tell us, who are you? Why are you?
Okay, so I'm Rebecca. I own Southern Pine Design Co. Back in the day, I started chalk painting furniture. That's kind of how I got into all of the crafting type stuff. I was one of those people that never really thought of myself as a creative. I'm better at math and stuff like that. I was never like an artist or a painter or anything like that. But I started chalk painting furniture when my son was little, and it just kind of transitioned into woodworking when the big like Shanty Tashik Anna White era was coming about. So I started building crappy pine furniture. And then I found Instagram Builders Challenge, as it was called back in the day. And that's when I started making hardwood cutting boards. So that's when I fell in love with hardwoods. And I just little by little went from like a weekend warrior to really falling in love with woodworking and the craft and the brands behind it. I kind of have a very extensive work history for someone who is, only 23. But just kidding. Um, I worked in admin for a long time. I was a fashion major. I worked in admin. I never really knew what I wanted to do. I'm good at admin just because I'm very organized. So I worked in dental admin. I worked in construction admin and never really found something that I would have called a passion until I really got into woodworking. So I was fortunate enough to leave my full-time job in 2022. I worked with Jericho Home a couple days a week for about a year. And then they kind of transitioned into pushing into making more like furniture for markets versus like the cabinetry and stuff we were doing in the shop. So I parted ways with them and I started working for a cabinet company called the Woodstock, which is a local cabinet company to me. And if you listen to my podcast with the Build with Ethan, we kind of talk about like working with other, like when you're trying to become a full-time woodworker, a good thing you can do is work with other local companies a couple days a week, for extra support. So that's what I did for a couple years. And I ended up having carpal tunnel surgery last December. So since then, it's just kind of been me and trying to find my way, streamline my brand, and figure out where to go in the future. So.
I love it. Can you share with us a little bit about your relationship with your scroll saw? Because I see some pretty incredible stuff as I was digging through your profile today.
So considering some of these girls are like scroll saw experts, I use my scroll saw for so many things other than signs, like things I don't even know if I'm supposed to be using it for. But I do love scrolling. I'm not typically a very patient person. So scrolling really forces me to like actually slow down and kind of just trust the process. So I do enjoy making signs. Like I said, I do a lot of home accessories. So, I don't know. I'm one of those people. I wish I could just be like, whatever you can think of, I can make it. Because I just love.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just love taking like other people's ideas and dreams and like making them a reality, like being able to like bring it to fruition.
I think that's a lot of us makers are kind of like that. It's like somebody comes to you with a big idea, especially when you're a mom and you have small children that are like, "Mom, can you do this?" And it's like, "I don't know how to do that, but I will figure it out,
Yeah,
and we will."
we'll figure it out.
So it's fun. That's super fun to be able to be kind of like, a jack of all trades or a Jill of all trades, so to say.
Yeah, I definitely go back and forth between the content creation part of it and the product part of it because there's a part of me that really wants to like create product and have this, this whole beautiful line of home accessories but I love the content aspect of everything as well. Like I really love photography and videography and trying to get better at that. And I love working with brands and especially smaller brands, helping them get their product noticed. And so that's something I've kind of leaned into. I think if anyone who knows me knows, like I work in and out of my basement. I don't have like a really dedicated shop. So depending on what time of the year it is and, all those different factors kind of depends on what kind of workload I can take on. Yeah. So the content part of it is a good addition for me.
I love that. So is there a project that has been maybe sitting on the back burner that you haven't tried yet, or that you just really wish somebody would ask you to do?
So and I think part of this comes from working at Jericho Home. I really love custom furniture and I've made pieces with them and I've made a ton of like tabletops and stuff. Like I've done a ton of like, I can do any kind of like glue up or whatever, but I've never really made a table base by myself. So, and I know, how to do it. I just haven't done it. And for some reason, I don't know if it's like, I'd love to do one with like tapered legs and, just something really simple and clean. But it's one of those things that I'm like so scared to actually like take the leap and do it on my own, but I'm gonna have to. So maybe if somebody like paid me to do one, then it would like light a fire under my bum and I would have to do it
Yes, that's
because
right,
I need to build
listeners.
one for my dining
That's,
room. And
yeah, that's right. So somebody ask.
yeah, not my
We
husband.
not your husband. We talked about this a little bit when I was like, hey, send me a video so I can make a reel to promote the show. You're like, I am so OCD. And I think
Oh,
I don't know what it is with like makers and like ADHD and OCD and that kind of stuff, but I think it scares some of us away from really jumping in and trying something brand new because we want to excel and we want it to be perfect. And it is
the
never
first time. The first time.
It's never going to be. It's never going to be on the first time. That's why we continue to make and practice. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I psych myself out, you know? So
For sure.
it's one of those things. I'm going to have to jump in and do it. And then I'll when I finally make my table base, then I'll share it with you guys because I have to make a table base because I've got several pecan slabs waiting to be made into a tabletop. And Jeremy told me that do not make a tabletop if you don't have your table base ready. He's like, you're going to put it somewhere. It's going to warp. Like, just like make your table base first.
Gotcha.
So that's what I've been instructed to do. So
how has your experience with cutting that pecan now that it's dry been going?
I mean, it's rough. I mean, it is so hard on saw blades. And I think that's the other thing. Like I'm going to do a live edge, but I need it to be a little bit wider. So we actually have a really pretty piece with a lot of heartwood and then a kind of thinner piece that's more sapwood, but has better live edges. So I think what we're going to do is try to cut that piece down and kind of sandwich the heartwood and put the live edges on the outside. So I'm anticipating needing a new track saw blade for that.
This is highly likely. In the turning world, we refer to it as pecan-crete. It will beat you up. It will beat your tools up.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's gorgeous once you get the oil and the fine finish on it. And it will take a polish like crazy. Like it is a labor of love.
Yeah, I have cutting board stands that I sell on Etsy, and they're pretty popular. So I'm like, oh, I have some extra scrap pecan. So I put it on there the other day as a choice, and someone bought one. And my CNC is actually in my dad's basement. So I went over there to cut it, and he cut it with the miter saw. He comes over and is like, good God. I mean, we're talking about a 1/2 inch piece of pecan. And he's like, this thing is like a rock. I'm like, I know. And then my mom comes down. She's like, are you burning something down here? Like, what is that smell? Dad and the pecan on the miter saw. It's not me.
Yeah.
So,
well, now you get to tell your dad he gets to enjoy the pleasure of buying himself a new miter saw blade.
I might owe him a new blade. Yeah.
And the thing is the old one was probably old. Everybody leaves a miter saw blade on their saw way too long. And that's because we're woodworkers and we're all secretly lazy and want to do things the easy way at all times. But
well, especially with Dad. He's like a hobbyist. So, but he is enjoying the CNC.
Well, that's good. But yeah, it's probably time for a new blade then.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's wonderful, man. But yeah, pecan is cool.
TJ, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I personally have never picked up a tool and been like, this blade is not sharp. What else do I have that I can use instead and not replace?
Exactly.
I've never, ever done that. Ever.
But yeah, no, if I didn't have a sharpening station directly next to my lathe to make it as easy as humanly possible for me to keep my tools sharp, I'd be burning through carbide inserts constantly.
Oh my gosh, my pocket knife gets so nasty, and I take it to my husband and I'm like, can you sharpen this? He's like, do you want to learn? I'm like, I don't want to learn. I want you to sharpen it for me. He's like, there's like glue on here, and like, what is this? What is this? I'm like, I don't know. Some double-sided tape, some epoxy. It's a great question. I don't know.
This show is absolutely about you, but there's a little sneak peek into your husband's gunsmithing lathe and metalworking
Oh,
setup on
yeah.
your profile, and I got super jealous super fast. Not because I spend any time doing long distance hole punching, but I love metalwork, and I thought it was so cool that
You?
that little burp showed up
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
bit.
He did long distance rifle competitions for a long time, into our son's youth. And then now that he's playing travel ball and our daughter's a little older, he's not doing them as much anymore. But yeah, he was building his own rifles and he chambers barrels and all the things. So when I was like, where do you think I get like brass dowels from? He was like, I can make them for you. I was like, oh, perfect. That sounds less expensive than
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's
That's
it's it's always really fun when you sort of get those teeny tiny little sneak peeks that you're both with each other and you both get to do fun creative stuff or use hands or you find the same joys and the same kind of things. I think that's super cool. And so I just appreciated that post, and it's like a cute little share that I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that noticed, but I think it's awesome.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I think he secretly likes helping me. He used to be the one that built everything and now he'll tell everybody, that now that I've exceeded his skill set. So now I get to be the builder in the family. So but it's fun. It's a good, again, that's, it's the best combination. It's the best of both worlds when you work with brands, because I hate kind of got cut off from like house projects because all that's left are like the big expensive ones, So I've been, but because we've been here 12 years. So, aside from maybe a couple like built-ins somewhere, like everything else that needs to be done is like a major, major renovation. But I am hooked up with a company called Evermark. So you'll see that coming out soon in the next few months too. They they have a full range, a whole line of stair parts. So I'm redoing our stairs. So that's pretty exciting. Got to.
I don't have a whole lot of experience with the redoing of stairs,
Me
but is that
either.
one of those like blitz and hope you get it done in a day kind of things? Because I feel like if you lack stairs, there's then a portion of your home that doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, so I don't want this to sound too super salesy yet, because people are gonna have to go to my YouTube to get all the real salesy information. But they have these stair treads that are basically, it's like a not laminate. What's it called? The hardwood, the like
LVP.
no, not LVP. It's like it's an actual hardwood like veneer.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember what now I'm blanking on what it's called. But anyways, it comes over, it's like a thin sheet and then it has like the nose. So you literally just put it over your plywood. Cause I mean, our house was built in like 1994. So we don't have, there's no like secret hardwoods under there. It's definitely just plywood. So, engineered hardwoods.
Sure.
So it's engineered hardwoods and it has like the nose across the front of it. So you literally like construction adhesive it down to your stair. If it already has a curve on your stair, if they have like a nose on the hardwood or on the plywood, you do have to cut that off so it's square, but you don't have to rip anything out. So whereas if you're doing actual hardwood treads, you have to rip the plywood out. But if you're not, you can actually lay these over the plywood. So
That's pretty cool.
construction adhesive, brad nails, and you're good to go. So yeah, I'm really excited. They've got some really cool things, some really good ways to attach the balusters. They've got really innovative products. One of their vice presidents is the creator of a lot of the products that they have. He's an inventor, and just a really, really smart guy and has all sorts of really cool products. So that's my after the kids go back to school project.
So how did you get connected with this brand?
So I met them at Hardware Huddle, which is it's not a trade show. It's kind of a marketing event. It's held by Ring of Fire, which is a marketing and advertising agency up in Greenville. So they hold this event in April every year. So I've been for 2 years in a row. So they basically at their facility have all these brands come out. There's indoor and outdoor spaces. So no matter how big or small you are, they've got space for you. They've got lawn equipment. It's a good combination of like DIY as well as construction. And they have all these different booths and stuff. And and they have a group of influencers that come, and basically we have a whole day to walk around. We get in groups and we go and see all the different brands and meet people. And so they're one of the brands that I met there.
That's awesome. Yeah, Hardware Huddle looked really fun. It was, what was it? You, Lindsay,
Star, Joni,
Katrina,
Pat. Yeah. Trying to think. I'm trying to think what other girls were there, because who cares about the boys, right? Just joking. No, Brent from BYO Tools, Travis from, what is it, Tools by Design. And then a bunch of like lawn care guys that actually like are some of the coolest guys to hang out with. They're so much fun. And but yeah, it is literally one of the most fun events. You know, it's an in and out, like it's really quick. Like we come up, we have an event in the evening, kind of a meet and greet dinner, get to hang out with everybody, go to sleep. The next morning you get up, you're at the show all day, go back and freshen up, go back to the hotel, clean up. And then they have like their awards ceremony. So they do all these different awards, like for all the brands. And it's really fun. It's really a great event. They really do a great job with it. And I love everyone at their company. They're great people, and they take really good care of all of us. And it's a really fun event.
And you said this takes place somewhere near Greenville?
Yep. It's like literally in Greenville. Like we usually stay in downtown Greenville, and then their office is like 10 or 15 minutes away.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about you and your friend, the Scroll Saw, and then we dipped a toe into you and your CNC machine. Is this a relatively recent acquisition, or is this something that you adopted early and realized, hey, this is a powerful assistant?
I wish I'd been doing it for years, because I would definitely be farther ahead than I am right now. I am new to the CNC. I just got it a few months ago. So the people didn't get to see me struggling to get on here and get audio and video set up, but I am not a like naturally like technologically savvy individual. Like I'm the person who like throughout college and like my years in New York never could figure out how to get my internet to like actually work and stay working. Like it was constantly not working and mostly not working. And we've never had an issue with it at this house since I've been with my husband. It always works. But yeah, I was never that person. So learning like CAD and G code and all these things it's going to take me some time. Stone's being very patient with me as far as figuring it out and getting some content out on it. But my dad, who has worked for Hewlett Packard for over 30 years, he's also my tech guy. He and my husband are both technical people. So he plays and watches videos, and he cuts stuff and makes me buy him new bits and
saw blades, evidently.
And saw blades. So we're getting there. But that was kind of the angle that that Onefinity wanted to see, was your everyday average, not a CNC person. Like, how easy it is to pick up the CNC. So as far as the Onefinity being user friendly, it is definitely user friendly. The fact that I have even cut things out on it is shocking, to say the least. But yes, that's the angle they wanted to come from was, hey, how easy is it to get somebody who has no background in CAD, no background in machinery, any of this stuff to get working, get set up and working on a Onefinity. So from that angle, I definitely think it's a very user-friendly machine. If anybody out there has never tried one. I've only ever worked kind of on one other machine that was at Jericho Home, and even just the computer system, like Ed was trying to show me how to upload a file, and I was like,
Nope.
Nope.
So are you running like Vectric, like VCarve with the Onefinity?
All I've done so far is Carveco.
Okay.
But it's been a slow summer for me. I've been home with both of my kids. So everything else has kind of taken a back burner. So once the kids go back to school tomorrow, actually, I really have to put some time into like watching videos and getting better at creating files and stuff like that. So that's the struggle for me. It's not actually running the CNC, because obviously it's doing what you tell it to do, right? So for me, it's like the CAD part of it, designing and creating the files. So that's what I really have to sit down and educate myself on.
You have a good crew of people backing you up, though. I mean, Stone and Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are amazing, incredible. So they've been such a huge part of the community. So I'm excited that you got one.
Yeah. Have you been on yours a lot?
I have not. I need to schedule a phone call with Avid because I switched over my software. I run Vectric, VCarve Pro, and when I upgraded to Mach 4 versus Mach 3, my machine doesn't want to home anymore. So the couple times I've like tried to mess with it, I've gotten too frustrated, and I'm like, kind of like you. I'm like, I want to know how to do this and like do it. I don't want to waste half my day when I have a million other things to do, like trying to figure out why this won't home. Like, this is stupid. So so I have a phone call, but I haven't done it yet.
We have a couple of wood turners in the live audience this evening that have all dropped in all at once. And so I think we need to start asking the important questions, which are, when are you going to get a lathe, and when are you going to learn how much fun you can have in your workshop?
I would love a lathe. So if anybody out there wants to send me a lathe, you feel free, because I would love to. I actually have thought about, I need to go down and hang out with Shar because I know she has one and loves to turn. So I need to, again, everything. I'm like, when school starts, when I have free time. Yes, I would love to go with Shar because I, again, love home accessories. So I see so many beautiful like bowls and plates and vases and I'm like, oh, I'd love to make that. I would love to make that. So yeah, that would definitely be, but it does, but again, do I?
When you decide, I mean, you're going to really get to experience fun in a workshop. Everything that you've been doing has just been leading up to this.
Yeah. But you have to be patient, right? It's like
No, it is like the most delightfully filled with instant gratification and tangible dopamine woodworking that exists.
I will love it.
Yes, it is majestic. You get to go from tree piece to something you can hand somebody in like an hour and 15 minutes.
As long as it's not a poisonous spurtle.
Yes, no, we're not giving people poison spurtles, but wood turning is wonderful. You swing by a Rockler or a Woodcraft, you grab a pen kit, grab any chunk of wood, and in 25 minutes you've got a keepsake that people will literally cherish from the second that they hold it in their hand.
That's
right?
what
And
I
I
think
mean,
I
I
would
know
be
that.
if I started turning and like there was spalting. I think
Okay,
I would
so
be
you
so
realize
giddy.
that turning and spalting are like two of the dorkiest things that go so delightfully hand in hand. Yeah.
Love I love it.
No, Dr. Sari Robinson, the one who is like one of the most notorious authors on spalting in the United States, is a wood turner.
Mm, I love that.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's what somebody was telling me recently, that you can like make your wood spalt.
We can have that conversation, but it's going to take a lot longer than an hour. I spalt wood.
Okay.
So
Do you?
yes.
Okay.
So we can talk
It's a
about this.
date.
Oh, that's wonderful. We get to have Dr. TJ gives spalting lessons on how to make your wood just funky.
I
just a little
know my
bit.
husband is just gonna love having a nasty pile of wood in the yard.
Well, if you'd like to swing by the Midwest, I will happily fill a 4x8 trailer full of nasty wood that you can go get crazy with. And the best part about wood turning also is that you can just find wood everywhere.
Because
Right?
you can
Like,
turn green wood.
yes, absolutely. It's
Yes.
easier. It's wonderful.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And then when you're working pecan and it's green, it's not so bad. It's just when it dries that it beats you up.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what's funny? We have a walnut tree in the backyard that always like drops walnuts on the trampoline. So the other day, my daughter and I were out there, and she's 4, just about to turn 5. And I was like, "What do you think the inside of these walnuts look like?" She was like, "I don't know. Let's cut it." So we took a handful of them to the scroll saw, and we cut them in half. You have to wait to see that video. It
Is your
was
scroll
Were they-
saw now permanently stained?
I was just gonna say, did you stain your fingers?
no, actually, they didn't. It looks like the inside of an avocado. It was crazy.
Were they still green?
Yeah, they were green. Mhm.
Oh, when they start to get soft on the outside, oh, they'll stain your hands like.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it'll look like you don't know how TP works. It's amazing.
It's disgusting. I made
No,
that
they
mistake.
were like very green. They were very green. She wanted to see the inside of a green one, so
I love that. That's adorable. My walnuts are falling here too already, so I love that.
yeah.
20. What was I gonna say? All this wood turning talk and stuff. I just have to say this for you, TJ. Becca, if you get into turning, it is the most fun you can have in your shop with your clothes on.
Is that like
Are you-
his motto?
Yes.
Are you proud
No,
of me, TJ?
wood turning is the most fun you can have in a workshop with your pants on. True story. Yeah.
Are you
Did they
proud
do
of
it?
me?
Did they do it at Maker Camp? Is there turning
Yeah.
at Maker Camp?
Yes.
Pat will probably be turning at
It's
Maker
gonna be
Camp.
there.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Well, we'll do
Yeah.
it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Can
he
Carter
also
do it
start-
too?
Yeah, he can do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ricky.
he'll probably have like pen making and stuff set up, and yeah, it's just a piece of. You just jam a little carbide tool into a spinning piece of wood, and like 20 minutes later, you're holding a pen.
Yeah.
Sounds really
No,
safe when you say it that way.
Ricky TV's daughter, Coda, did turning with Pat Lapp.
Yeah.
Last year, and it was a hoot. It was awesome. But he's great. He's got a heart that melts like butter, I think, because now he's a daddy. So he's like sees these kids and he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cute. JP Woodwork said, "It's relaxing. You can take your anger out on a piece of wood." Nice.
Oh yeah, and the wood doesn't talk back. It does get violent occasionally. Like if you turn bad wood can scare you, but that's like really in the minority of experience.
Have you ever had one like come flying off?
I've had one come flying off while I was on live turning. It was a really exciting 5 minutes. But yeah, again, like when I first started, I wore a motorcycle helmet because I knew how dumb I was, and I knew I was going to hurt myself in some way. And I ricocheted a couple of bowls off of that motorcycle helmet, and then I got better, and it wasn't a big deal. But that
Yeah.
experience is not common. Most people don't ricochet a bowl against their forehead.
I know there's a guy, I can't remember his handle, but there's a guy that comes up on my feed all the time that turns these like massive, like into like these big, like urn vases. Like it's wild. It's wild.
I've seen him too.
Yeah. It's amazing.
He goes and spins it like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Like both hands. Like, yeah.
yeah.
They're super cool. I'll have to send it to you if I next time I come across them.
Yeah. So the time is now 8:58. We've probably got about 10 more minutes of show left in us, I think. We've got
Okay.
some bedtime to do. Jesse, you've got dinner to eat because your time zones are fancy pantsy.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we take one more lap through our sponsors, and then we'll do the show end. And that first sponsor is going to be Layla over at KC Bombshell Design, who is our new merch guru, and she's also a delightful human and a pretty badass scroll saw artist, but she'll never say that herself, so it's my job to say that. But yeah, so when you want your Sawdust Talk gear, you go talk to Layla over at KC Bombshell Designs. Also, Makers for St. Jude Fall Challenge coming up. We are going to go from raising $11,000 last year to $35,000 this year with all of your guys' help. And that means you need to get involved and you need to make something, and you got to help raise money for probably the coolest kids charity that exists. I'm sure that there's one that like makes custom skee ball things for sick kids or something, because skee ball's awesome, but I've never heard of it. But I have heard of St. Jude, and children's cancer sucks, and St. Jude makes it better for all of the families and all the people dealing with that terrible scenario. We also need to thank Surf Prep one more time. Hannah, you're sweet as a peach. We love your support. And frankly, if you guys aren't using Surf Prep abrasives for your day-to-day tasks and your project making, well, that just seems like a foolish use of your time and money. And if you want to save money on Surf Prep, you can use the coupon code Sawdust Talk, and you can get a little discount, and it helps keep our podcast rocking and rolling, and keeps Jesse and I in a little bit more gear so that we can stay up to date with the changes in technology. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
We're so good. Okay. That means that we are going to probably point ourselves towards the final question of our show, which is every week I ask our guests for a motivational thought or a quote or a reason to get out of bed, or something that maybe just stuck out to you this week, or maybe you saw a reel that like was poignant. It doesn't really matter, but I want you to talk directly to the people who are going to be watching on the YouTubes or listening on a podcast to help them stay motivated, to help them get excited about kicking open their workshop doors, making a mess, picking up a tool, and getting awesome. And what would you like to share with everyone?
So I would say my biggest thing that I like to tell people anytime anyone says like, oh, I could never do what you do, or, you know, I'm not as good as you. The only reason that anybody is better than anybody is because they have failed more times. I have messed up more things than other people have. And that's the only reason I'm better at what I do than anybody else. So I think when it comes to blue collar skills, I think if there's something that you want to do, then just get out there and do it. Like, I don't think you're ever too old. I'm 41 and I feel like I'm just finding my stride. Like I said earlier in the show, I have a lifetime of past experiences, jobs that just never fit, things that I just didn't love. And I think you're just never too old to find your passion. And I think that failure breeds growth. So never be afraid to fail. Like I tell my kids, like when you fail, every time you fail at something, you learn. So I think just embracing that and allowing yourself the time to get super frustrated and go punch a pillow or do whatever you need to do, walk away and get frustrated about your failure, but coming back and trying again. And then there's nothing like the feeling when you finally succeed at something that you have been working towards. it's a very blissful feeling, and nothing really beats it. So I'd say motivation is that feeling is the motivation right there. So
I have two things. First of all, you're 23. I don't know what you're talking about. Second of all, if it's not perfect on the first try, do you know what I'm talking about? The audio.
I do, but I am not that girl. I wish I could be the movie quote girl, but the only quote I know is "Ew, David."
Ew, David. I love how that's how we started this. How we're going out with it too.
It's my kids have never even seen the show, and one of them will fart, and the other one will go, "Ew, David."
Yes. That means that you're so good at parenting.
Winning.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. You are wonderful. I just adore the heck out of you. I love that you're my team surf prep girly. And
oh wait, what's the new way?
Oh yeah,
there's a new way.
Oh yeah, like
what do you do? This? See, this is what
we're all making heart hands.
What you're learning from the 23-year-olds these days.
Yeah, you're hipping on TikTok, right?
How's that? How did that surgery go? Like don't try.
Yeah, no, you may be hip, but I'm hip replacement surgery, so we'll make it work for the over 40 crowd. All right, boys and girls, I think that is probably going to bring our show to conclusion. This was majestic. You are a delightful unicorn on Team Surf Prep, and we love you for your participation. We're going to wear you down like Steve Urkel and get you involved in Makers for St. Jude eventually.
Yes, David.
Yes, David.
Yes, David.
Queen, right? So I think that's going to do it. We will see all of you. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the show. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye.